struggle with how to handle and how to respond to being embarrassed? Well, if you do, keep watching. My name's Antoinette Griffin, and my channel is all about confidence, communication, and charisma from an introvert's perspective. Now, there's two different kinds of embarrassment. There's the kind where we should have said or done something that we didn't, or we didn't say or do something that we should have. That's when we embarrass ourselves. And then there's another kind of embarrassment, and that is when people say or do something to embarrass us. Well, today I'm going to talk to you about the first kind of embarrassment, how to handle when you have done something or said something to embarrass yourself. It's something that I've struggled with myself. It's that idea of, oh my goodness, I've made a mistake and other people are seeing me make this mistake. And it's just this horrible feeling. So let's get into how do you handle it and how do you respond to it? Number one, admit your mistake and laugh out loud. Now, this is in a situation where your mishap did not cause another person harm, or you didn't offend, or you didn't do anything wrong to somebody else. You just did something that was embarrassing to yourself, and nobody else is going to suffer the consequences of your embarrassment. In those situations, admit it. Admit that you're embarrassed and then laugh out loud, even when you really don't feel like it on the inside. The reason why this is important is for two reasons. It's for yourself and it's for others to see. First of all, you're sending the message to your brain that you are not going to take it seriously. You're not going to let it get you down. You're not going to beat yourself up over it. And it sends a message to the rest of the world that you're confident enough in yourself that you can laugh at yourself in a situation that's embarrassing rather than beat yourself up over it. About a year ago, I was doing a Facebook Live that was going to be broadcast to a closed group. Well, I hit the wrong button and I ended up broadcasting to my public news feed for all of my 3,000 plus friends. And I didn't even realize it until about 5 minutes later. And once somebody texted me and said, "You're not in the group, you're actually broadcasting live on your news feed," I was horrified. I was so humiliated that I just disconnected the call. My face showed it all, that I was just so embarrassed. Fast forward to a few months later when a colleague of mine did the exact same thing. He made the exact same mistake. And I watched how he handled it. He actually said, "Oh my goodness, this is on my public news feed." And he said, "How embarrassing." And then he laughed out loud and he handled it so well. When you put us side by side, who do you think looked more confident? He did. Number two, confide in someone and tell them your embarrassing story or your embarrassing incident. Maybe it'll just be a matter of you getting it outside of your head, or maybe you're wanting to ask them for their advice and what they think that you should do in this situation. It is liberating because it lessens the severity of the incident or the situation. In our head, we tend to blow it up, usually to bigger than it really is. And that's why we're feeling so embarrassed, because in our head, it just looks so severe. And when we share it with somebody else, our trusted advisor is able to offer us encouraging words. Our trusted advisor is able to make us usually feel better about ourselves or give us some advice. And then a lot of times that person is able to share a similar story of how they did something embarrassing, and it makes us feel better. Number three, apologize if you need to, and then move on. Maybe it's a situation where you have said or done something embarrassing that may have harmed somebody or hurt somebody's feelings. Maybe you're even not sure if you have or not. In either situation, initiate an apology to that person, or at least a conversation saying, did I offend you, or did I hurt your feelings, or did what I say, was that inappropriate? And have that conversation with them. And if you need to apologize, if it's a situation where you do owe them an apology, then apologize, but then move on. After you've had that heartfelt conversation, it's time to move on. I used to want to camp out there and make sure the person knew how embarrassed I was and how much I wanted their forgiveness and how much I wanted them to accept an apology, when really all it was doing was it was just intensifying the situation rather than lessening the severity of the situation. And next, remember, the world is not looking as closely at you as you think they are. If you were to take all of your embarrassing moments that you remember and you were to write them down on a sheet of paper or put them in your computer, and you were to show them to the people who were there at the time that you embarrassed yourself, they probably wouldn't even remember most of them. Or even if they did remember them, they would probably laugh about it and say, oh yeah, I forgot all about that. You see, so many times we think that other people are holding on to our embarrassing situations when really, they really weren't paying that much attention to us in the first place. Ursula Bierman states that the ability or proclivity not to take yourself too seriously also can mean that you're prepared to acknowledge that you're not the center of the universe. Have you found ways to handle and respond to your embarrassing situations, those things that you've done or said? If so, I would love to hear them in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you have liked this video, I hope you will press like and I hope you will subscribe.